tutorial. Inflation. Okay, today we are going to read about the chapter inflation, class 10 economics, inflation chapter. What does the word inflation means? Inflation is commonly understood to be a situation in which price of goods and services persistently rise at a fast pace. In case of inflation, what happens? The goods and prices are rising at a very fast pace. Okay, inflation refers to situation when the price of goods are rising at a very fast pace. Okay, and inflation does not mean that suppose today prices of the goods rose and tomorrow it again fell down. That is not an inflation. Inflation is continuous rise in the price of goods. Okay, it is termed as inflation. Okay, persistent rise. Therefore, it is referred as inflation is referred as state of rising prices, not a state of high prices. It means continuous state of rising prices is known as inflation, not a state of high prices. Okay, means suppose the price of goods are more today, but tomorrow it fell down. So it can't be referred to as inflation. Okay, continuous rise in the prices of the goods is termed as inflation. Then we are moving to types of inflation. Creeping inflation. When the inflation, rate of inflation is within 2 to basically in single digit. Okay, when the rate of inflation is like a movement of the snail or creeper, when the rise in the price is very slow, like that of a snail or creeper. Okay, means the rate of increase in price is very less, near about 2% per annum. Okay, it is regarded as creeping inflation. It is for that you don't have to do any such kind of changes. Okay, it is not such a big thing. Basically, in case of creeping inflation, the speed in the increase in the price of goods are very slow. It is like a snail or creeper's movement. Next, we move to walking or trotting inflation. When price rise moderately and the annual inflation rate is in single digit. Okay, creeping inflation when the increase in the price of good was 2% per annum. In case of walking inflation, what is happening? Walking or trotting inflation, the prices rise moderately in single digit. Okay, the increase in the price of goods is in single digit with rate of increase like 3 to 6%. Okay, price of goods are rising at the rate of 3 to 6%, less than 2 digit number. Okay, means 3 to 9% per annum the price of goods are rising. That is referred as walking or trotting inflation. Whereas running inflation, in this case, what happens when prices rapidly rise at a rate of around 10% to 20%. First was creeping inflation when the price was rising at the rate of just 2% per annum, like the snail or creeper's movement. Then was walking or trotting inflation when the prices was moving just like from 3 to 6% or less than 9%. Okay, and next is running inflation. In this case, what is happening? The price of goods are rising at a rate of 10 to 20%. Okay, double digit. It enters into double digit. Okay, it is a warning signal for the government to take any necessary decision to control the inflation. And last is the hyperinflation or galloping inflation. In this case, what happens? The inflation is rising at a very fast rate. It enters into triple digit. Now it was already in double digit in case of trotting inflation, in case of running inflation, it already entered in double digit. In case of hyperinflation, it is entering triple digit. Okay, in this case, what is happening? The prices of goods and services are rising at the rate of 20 to near about 90%, or it crosses 90s also, it reaches to 100% also. Okay, it is referred as hyperinflation or galloping inflation. Such a situation brings total collapse of the monetary system because of the continuous fall in the purchasing power of the money. Yes, in this case, it is a very disastrous situation. Okay, when the inflation is when it is a hyperinflation in a country, because in that case the people are not able to buy anything. Okay, the purchasing power of the money is falling at a very fast rate. Next, you're moving to demand pull and cost pull inflation. What does demand pull inflation means and cost pull inflation means? Demand pull inflation refers to a situation in prices rise because the demand for goods and services exceeds their total supply available at current prices. Just see the definition properly. Demand pull inflation means due to the excessive demand. Okay, price of goods rises. In that term, the word only, you will get the explanation. What it is written? Demand pull. Due to the excessive demand for goods and services, what happens? Supply is limited and demand is huge. Due to which what is happening? Excess over supply. Okay, due to which price of goods and services rises. Okay, in case of demand pull inflation, why the prices are rising? Because of excessive demand. Supply is less and demand is more. That's why the price of goods are rising. It is known as demand pull inflation. Whereas in case of cost pull inflation, what is happening? In case of cost pull inflation, Yes, in this case what basically the cost of the production rises. Okay, in cost push inflation, because of the increase in the cost of production, the price to make the product is more, price of making product is becoming higher, due to which what is happening, the price of goods are increasing. In case of demand pull inflation, what was happening, due to the increase in demand the prices were rising, but in case of cost push inflation, due to the increase in the cost of production, the price of the product is rising. It is known as cost push inflation. Now, what are the causes of demand pull inflation? First is increase in money supply. The first major cause of demand pull inflation is increase in the supply of money, which lead to the increase in aggregate demand. Supply of money includes the currency of the public and demand. Yes, when there is increase in money supply, people are having more money, their purchasing power will increase, and if their purchasing power is increased, means total aggregate demand increases. Total aggregate demand increases, so ultimately what will happen? Everybody will go for buying goods. Okay, demand will be huge, supply is limited, due to which what is happening? The price of the goods rises. Second thing, increase in disposable income. When the disposable income of the people increases, it raises the demand for goods. Yes, the disposable income is there left, the income which is left after paying taxes and other kinds of expense, necessary fees and all. Okay, the amount of money which is left with them. Okay, disposable income. If they are having more disposable income with them, then what? They will be able to spend more money. Okay, to purchase various goods and services. Means again same thing. The demand is more. Okay, they are having more money, means what? There will be huge demand in the market, and if there is huge demand, again what will happen? The price of the product is rising. So increase in money supply, increase in disposable income leads to what kind of inflation? They lead to demand pull inflation, not cost push inflation. Number 3 is increase in population. Increase in population, Adam is major cause responsible for rising prices. Increase in population means increased demand for consumer goods. It increases the aggregate demand for goods. Yes, if population increases also, then also it will lead what? Aggregate demand will increase. Aggregate demand increases and supply is limited, due to which what is happening? There is increase in the price of the goods. Okay, these were the 3 causes which affects the demand pull inflation. Causes of demand pull inflation. Cost pull inflation, I said you, we will be reading the causes of cost push inflation. First is rise in wages. Rise in wages has been considered as the main determinant of cost push inflation. This is because in modern times, workers have organized themselves into strong trade unions which are succeeding in getting higher wages. Yes, if the workers are demanding higher wages and the producer have to pay higher wages, and if they are paying higher wages, means what is happening? The cost of production is increasing. If the cost of production increasing, means what? The producer will charge more from the customers. Ultimately, the prices of the product will increase. So that is why it causes inflation, and it is known as cost push inflation. Secondly, increase in the price of basic material. Cost push inflation is also caused by increase in the price of some basic materials like raw materials which are used in the production. Okay, like steel, basic chemicals, oil, etc. Since these materials are used directly or indirectly in almost all the industry, may increase in their price affect the whole of the economy. Yes. The materials, okay, the basic materials which are used in all other industries, each and every industry, these are used like steel, basic chemicals, oils, etc. Okay, so this directly or indirectly, this all affects the production. Okay, it affects the production, due to which what happens? The prices of the products rises. Okay, if there is increase in the price of basic materials which are used in each and every industries, what will happen? It will affect the price of various goods which are produced. Higher taxes. Another important cause of cost push inflation is the imposition of higher taxes on commodities like excise duty, sales tax, etc. These taxes are largely passed over by the producers to the customers by the amount of taxes. Yes, if more amount of tax is charged on the goods, what will happen? Producers will ultimately take that money from the consumers. So ultimately the burden falls upon the consumer. Okay, if you are charging more tax on various goods, then what will happen? Producers will charge that money from the consumers. So ultimately consumer have to pay more price for the goods. Okay, so it results in cost push inflation. These were the 3 causes which results in cost push inflation. Next we will see effects of inflation. What are the effects of inflation on purchasing power of money? By purchasing power of money, we mean that amounts of goods and services that a unit money can buy. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of money in times of inflation. For example, see, suppose you lend a sum of rupees 10,000 today to a person at the rate of 10% per annum. After a year, you will get 11,000, 10,000 principal and 1,000 interest. Further, suppose the rate of inflation remains 8% during a year, the 8% of your interest income will be offset by the rise in price, and you will only receive 2% real rate of interest. Inflation thus reduces the value of money. See what example they are saying you. Suppose you are borrowing 10,000, okay, at the rate of 10% per annum. Okay, you have lent someone 10,000 per annum. After you, what will happen? How much you will get? You will get 11,000. 10,000 rupees is the principal amount and 1,000 is the interest. Further, suppose that the rate of inflation remains 8% during the year. then 8% of your interest income will be offset by the rise in prices, and you will only receive 2% real rate of interest is. So suppose in that year inflation rate of percent is 8%, okay, so 10% interest you are getting, okay, 10% interest will be offset by the 8%, so ultimately you will receive how much? Ultimately you will receive 2% real rate of interest, okay, 10% is adjusted by the 8% of inflation. Next, how it affects the production. A moderate rise in prices has favorable effect on production, particularly when they are underemployed resources. Rising prices increases the profit experience. If there is a slight increase in the prices, it is a good sign, okay, it is helpful, because what will happen when there is a slight increase in the price of the product, what will happen, more producers will be induced to produce that product, okay, because they are seeing the profit margin is increasing, okay, the more producers will come to produce that kind of product, and if there is underutilization resources, then what will happen, fuller utilization resources will take place, okay, if there is a moderate increase in the price of goods, okay. But if there is a vast, like in case of hyperinflation, then it is a totally disastrous for the economy. It is because of the fact, besides saving, once the stage of full employment is reached in the economy, a further rise in price will not increase production. Therefore, till the stage of full employment is moderately rising prices prove beneficial for production. But a state of running or hyperinflation creates uncertainty in the economy. I said you, okay, and we read in the in the first type of inflation, creeping inflation. That is good, okay. In that case, more producer will be induced towards the production of that particular product, okay, whose prices are rising, and after certain time, okay, when it enters to suppose galloping inflation or running inflation, what will happen? It will create uncertainty in the economy, okay. What are the evil effects of national inflation? Misallocation of resources. Inflation disrupts the smooth working of the price mechanism. It leads to maladjustments in the production. Producers divert the resources from the production essential commodity to non-essential goods, luxury goods, from which they expect higher profit. Yes. Misallocation of resources. See, what are the evil effects? Okay, what are the disadvantages, you can say? Okay, what happens? Producers divert their resources from the essential goods, from the production of essential goods to the production of luxury goods. Okay, instead of producing essential goods, they will be induced to produce luxury goods, by which they can earn huge amount of profit. Okay, they will allocate all the resources, divert all the resources toward the production of luxury goods, in whose profit margin is more. Okay. Number 2, reduction in saving. Inflation adversely affects savings. When the prices rise rapidly, more money is now needed to buy the same amount of goods and services than before. It does reduces the savings and hence investment. Yes. Earlier, suppose you are having your income was suppose 10,000, okay, and you are able to purchase the goods and services at 5,000. So 5,000 was your saving. But suppose your income is 10,000, and due to inflation, now you are purchasing the same goods at 8,000. So now how much you will be able to save? You will be able to save only 2,000. So due to inflation, what is happening? Your savings is decreasing. In the first case, when you are earning 10,000 and purchasing the goods at 5,000, you are able to save 5,000. But in the second case, what is happening? In the second case, due to inflation, the price of goods rose, and you are spending 8,000 to purchase the same goods, due to which your savings had fallen to 2,000. Okay, so inflation also reduces the savings, and if savings gets reduced, what will happen? Less investment will take place. Number 3, discourage foreign capital. Inflation discourages the inflow of foreign capital into the country. Foreigners do not like to invest in those countries where prices are rising. Rising costs of raw materials and other inputs make the foreign investment less profitable. Yes. No foreign companies will come and invest in a country in which the prices are rising continuously. Okay, if the prices are rising, what will happen? They have to pay more for the factors of production, and their profit margin will be less. Okay, they don't want to invest in a country in which they have to pay more price for their inputs. Okay, so with that, what will happen? Foreign investment will also come down. Next is hoarding. During inflation, the hoarding of larger stocks of goods becomes profitable. As a result of this, the available supply of goods in relation to increasing monetary demand decreases. This results in black marketing. The producer then sells the goods in the black market, which increases inflationary pressure. Yes. Hoarding of goods takes place. Okay, people start hoarding the goods. Okay, artificial scarcity takes place. Okay, they have their goods, but still they will store in the godown. Okay, so as to increase the demand of the goods. Okay, and ultimately they will start releasing the goods from the godown when the prices are too high in the market, and they will earn huge amount of profits.